friend. I'm Hope, and I'm really glad you're here today. Welcome to English with Hope, a calm space for your mind and your heart. In this channel, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to rush. Here, we learn English slowly. We listen to English gently. No pressure, no stress. And here, you are not alone. Wherever you are in the world, I'm right here with you. So relax your shoulders, take a slow breath, and let's begin. There is something people say when life gets hard. They say, just be grateful for what you have. And maybe you've heard it so many times that it has started to feel less like comfort and more like a quiet instruction you can never quite follow. Maybe someone said it to you recently, a friend, a family member. Maybe you even said it to yourself in that tired, gentle voice you use when you're trying to hold yourself together. Be grateful. You have so much. Other people have it worse. And you know that. You do. But somehow, knowing it doesn't always make you feel it. And that distance, that space between knowing and feeling, can be one of the loneliest places to sit. I want to start there today, not with a list of reasons to be thankful, not with a reminder about how fortunate you are. I want to start with the honest feeling that sometimes gratitude feels far away, like something that belongs to other people, people who seem lighter than you. People who somehow wake up every morning and see the beauty in things without trying. Have you ever watched someone like that and thought, how do they do it? Not with jealousy exactly, more like quiet curiosity, a wondering. What are they seeing that I'm not seeing? I think most of us, at some point in our lives, reach a moment where the good things around us stop registering. Not because we are ungrateful people, not because we don't care, but because we are tired, because something is heavy right now, or has been heavy for a while. And when something is heavy, the mind doesn't have much room left. It gets narrow. It gets focused on what hurts, what worries, what is unfinished, what is uncertain. It's not a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's just what happens when a person has been carrying something for too long. And in the middle of all that carrying, someone tells you to be grateful, and you try. You really do. You think, I have a home. I have food. I have people who love me. You tick the boxes, and then you wait for the warm feeling to arrive, and sometimes it doesn't. And then you feel something worse, not just tired, but guilty for being tired. Not just heavy, but ashamed of the heaviness. I have so much. Why can't I just feel grateful? That question, that specific question, I think it lives inside a lot of people, quietly. Maybe it lives inside you, right now. Today, I want to sit with you in that question. Not to answer it immediately, not to fix it, just to look at it together for a while. Because I think gratitude, real gratitude, the honest kind, is not what most people tell us it is. It is not a feeling you produce on command. It is not a performance for others or even for yourself. It is not about pretending the hard things aren't hard. It is something quieter than that. Something much more ordinary. And maybe by the end of today, you don't need to feel grateful in any big dramatic way. Maybe you just need to feel a little more open to noticing. That's enough. That is really truly enough. Stay with me a little longer, friend. We have somewhere gentle to go. It was a Friday evening. Bella was walking home the long way. Not because she wanted to, but because the main road was blocked and the crowd had pushed her sideways into a street she didn't usually take. She was already tired, already carrying the week inside her body, the way you do when you haven't had a real moment of rest in days. Her feet hurt. Her bag was heavy. Her mind was still turning over a conversation from work that she couldn't quite let go of. She just wanted to get home. She almost didn't see him. He was sitting against the wall of a building near the corner, an older man, thin, with no coat, despite the cold air settling in for the evening. A few plastic bags beside him. Nothing else? He wasn't asking for anything. He wasn't looking at the people passing by. He was just there, still, his eyes on the ground in front of him. Bella slowed down for a moment. Then the crowd moved her forward, and she kept walking. But she couldn't stop thinking about him, not in a dramatic way, not with a flood of emotion, right there on the street. She just kept walking, and somewhere at the back of her mind, the image stayed. His thin jacket, the cold, the way he wasn't looking at anyone. She turned the corner, climbed her stairs, unlocked her door, and stepped inside. The apartment was warm. She hadn't left the heat on. It was just the natural warmth of an enclosed space. Her space. 4 walls that belonged to her evening, her rest, her quiet. She took off her shoes, changed into comfortable clothes, soft, familiar, worn in the right places. She opened her refrigerator and stood there for a moment, looking at the food inside. Nothing exciting. Leftover rice, some vegetables, an egg or 2. But it was there. It was just there. She cooked something simple, sat down at her small table, ate slowly, and somewhere between the first bite and the last, something moved through her. Quiet, uninvited, and completely honest. She thought about the man on the corner. She thought about her warm plate, her soft clothes, her locked door. That meant she was safe for the night. She didn't feel guilty. That wasn't it. Guilt would have been easier to name and set aside. This was something else. Something that sat lower and stiller than guilt. It was recognition. I have a place to come back to. Not everyone does. She sat with that for a long time after she finished eating, not trying to turn it into a lesson, not reaching for her phone, just sitting in the quiet of her apartment with the last of the evening light fading through the window. She thought about how many times she had walked through that door this week without really feeling it. How many times she had opened that refrigerator and sighed because there was nothing exciting inside. How many times she had pulled that blanket over herself at night and fallen asleep without a single thought of what it meant to have a blanket at all. Not because she was ungrateful, not because she was careless, just because she was used to it. And being used to something is so easy. It happens so slowly, you never notice it happening. That night, lying in bed, Bella didn't make any big promises to herself. She didn't decide to volunteer more, or give more, or be a better person. She just lay there in the warmth and let herself feel it. The roof above her, the bed beneath her, the simple, enormous fact of having somewhere safe to be. It wasn't happiness exactly, but it was something real, something she had been walking past for months without stopping. And tonight, for the first time in a long time, she stopped. Let's stay with Bella for a moment, not with the lesson of her story, not with what we are supposed to take from it, just with that feeling she had, sitting at her small table, warm plate in front of her, the week finally quiet around her. That still, honest recognition, I have a place to come back to. Not everyone does. Have you ever had a moment like that, friend? Not a big realization, not something cinematic, just a small, unplanned moment where something ordinary suddenly landed, where something you had been walking past for weeks quietly asked you to stop and actually look at it. Maybe you have. Maybe it's been a while. Either way, let's walk through this together, slowly, no rush. Why does gratitude sometimes feel like something we are supposed to perform? I think we need to start here, because before we can talk about gratitude honestly, we have to talk about what it has become in the world around us. Somewhere along the way, gratitude became a product. It became journals with beautiful covers, morning routines with 5 things to be thankful for before your first coffee, social media captions about blessings and abundance, someone standing in golden light telling you to appreciate what you have. And none of that is wrong, exactly. But somewhere in all that noise, the real thing got buried. Because real gratitude doesn't always look like that. It doesn't always feel warm and golden and photogenic. Sometimes it feels like Bella at her kitchen table, quiet, a little humbled, a little sad, not performing anything for anyone, just sitting with an honest feeling that arrived without being invited. And I think that's the thing we need to say out loud together. When gratitude becomes something we are supposed to feel, it stops being something we actually feel. And that gap between what we're supposed to feel and what we actually feel is exhausting to live inside, isn't it? So if you have ever tried to feel grateful and felt like you were failing at it, you weren't failing at gratitude. You were failing at the performance of it. And that is a completely different thing. The performance was never yours to carry. Why is it so hard to feel grateful when we already know we have good things? We need to talk about this one, honestly, because I think it lives inside so many of us quietly, that specific grinding guilt of the person who knows they should feel grateful, but doesn't. You know you have food. You know you have shelter. You know there are people who care about you. You can list it all, every single item without hesitation. And still, on a Tuesday morning, you wake up feeling empty, feeling like something is missing, feeling like life is somehow passing you by. And then comes that voice. You know the one? What is wrong with me? Friend, nothing is wrong with you. Knowing and feeling are not the same country. They don't even speak the same language sometimes. The mind doesn't run on logic alone. It runs on safety, on history, on the weight of everything it has been quietly carrying. And when it's overwhelmed, even by small accumulated things, it narrows, it contracts. It pulls all its attention toward what is unresolved, uncertain, uncomfortable. It's not ingratitude. It is self-protection. The mind isn't ignoring your blessings. It is trying to survive your Tuesday. And sometimes surviving is the whole job. Sometimes that is genuinely, completely enough. I think about moments, maybe you've had them too, where someone, meaning well, said something like, "At least you have your health. At least you have your family. At least things aren't worse." And you nodded because you knew it was true. But it didn't touch the pain, did it? It didn't reach it, because pain doesn't respond to logic. It responds to being seen. And sometimes the people who seem the least grateful are simply people whose pain hasn't been seen yet, not even by themselves. So before we ask, why can't I feel grateful? Maybe the gentler question is, what am I still carrying that hasn't been acknowledged yet? That question is worth sitting with. We don't need to answer it right now. Just let it be there. What happens inside us when we are too exhausted to feel thankful? I want to be honest with you about something here, because I think understanding this changes things. When we are in survival mode, when stress has been sitting on our chest for a long time, the parts of us responsible for perspective, for appreciation, for seeing the bigger picture, they go quiet. They have to. The mind is busy with more urgent things. I remember reading something about this once. I think it was something by Bessel van der Kolk, about how the body holds stress long after the stressful moment has passed. The idea that a nervous system under pressure doesn't have space for softness, not because it doesn't want softness, but because it has learned somewhere along the way that it can't afford to relax. And so many of us are carrying that kind of pressure without fully realizing it, because it has become so familiar. The constant noise, the quiet comparison, the feeling of always being slightly behind where we should be, the low hum of anxiety that has been there so long we've stopped noticing it's even there. In that state, gratitude doesn't disappear because we are bad people. It disappears because we have closed the windows, drawn the curtains, focused everything we have on just getting through, and we cannot force a closed window open. By feeling guilty that it's closed, we open it slowly, with patience, with small moments of stillness that say to the nervous system, it's okay to look up now. It's okay to notice something good. That is what Bella did without knowing she was doing it. She didn't force gratitude. She didn't instruct herself to feel it. She just slowed down enough, just for a moment, for one small true thing to reach her. The warmth of her apartment, the food on her plate, the locked door that meant she was safe tonight. She let it land. That's all. That was the whole thing. Why do we stop seeing what we already have? Can I share something with you that genuinely changed the way I think about this? The brain is extraordinary at adapting. When something new enters your life, a new home, a new relationship, a new phone, it responds, it notices, it registers the difference. But over time, it stops responding, not because the thing has lost its value, but because the brain has quietly filed it away as normal, as background, as just the way things are now. There's a name for this, hedonic adaptation, and it's not a flaw. It's actually a remarkable feature of the human mind, the ability to normalize, to adjust, to keep functioning. But it has a quiet cost, doesn't it? The cost is that the good things in our lives, the stable, ordinary, reliable good things, slowly become invisible, not gone, just unseen. The roof over your head, the friend who always picks up when you call, the body that carried you through another day without being asked, the water that ran warm when you turned the tap this morning. We were not always guaranteed these things. Somewhere in our own history, in our parents' lives, our grandparents' lives, some of these things were not certain. Some of them were hoped for, and now they are just Wednesday. I'm not saying this to make you feel guilty. Please hear that. I'm saying it because understanding why we stop seeing things is the first gentle step towards seeing them again. Not through force, not through a journal prompt, just through understanding. Oh, my mind normalized this. That's why I stopped feeling it. That small recognition, just that, can quietly open something. What if gratitude is not a feeling you have, but a direction you slowly learn to look? This is the reframe. that stays with me, friend. Because if gratitude is a feeling, something that arrives or doesn't, something you either have or you don't, then we are always at its mercy, always waiting for it, always measuring ourselves against it, always falling short. But what if it's more like a direction, the way a window faces a certain way, and in the morning, if you go and stand near it, the light finds you. You didn't create the light. You didn't manufacture it. You just learned, slowly, which direction it comes from, and you turned yourself gently toward it. That is all gratitude is really asking of us. Not to pretend the hard things aren't hard, not to smile through pain, not to minimize what is genuinely heavy in your life right now, just to occasionally, honestly, turn toward what is also true, the warm meal, the voice of someone who loves you, the fact that you made it through another week that asked a lot of you. These things are also true. They exist alongside the difficulty. They don't cancel it out, but they live there quietly in the same life, in your life. And the practice, if we want to call it a practice, is simply learning to let them register. Not every day, not perfectly, not with a grateful heart every single morning. Just sometimes, when there is a small moment of stillness, when something ordinary catches your eye, when you notice something before it disappears, that noticing is enough. That noticing is gratitude, the real kind, the honest kind, the kind that doesn't need golden light or a beautiful morning, the kind that happens in a kitchen on a Thursday evening with steam rising from a pot and the rain just beginning outside the window. Do you ever feel like you are waiting for life to become good enough to appreciate? Like there is a version of your life, slightly more settled, slightly less uncertain, slightly less exhausting, that you are waiting to arrive before you let yourself feel okay about things? I think a lot of us live there without realizing it. When this difficult period ends, I'll feel grateful. When things are more stable, I'll slow down and notice what I have. When I'm less tired, I'll appreciate things more. And the difficult period ends and another one begins. And stability keeps moving just slightly ahead of where we are. And the tiredness doesn't quite lift the way we hope. And the gratitude keeps getting postponed. Not because we are ungrateful people, but because we were waiting for perfect conditions before we allowed ourselves to feel it. And life, in its honest and imperfect way, never quite delivers perfect conditions. So what if we stopped waiting? Not in a forceful, push-through-it way, just in a quiet, honest way. This is hard right now. And also, this small thing is good. Both are true. That and that small, quiet, and that is where real gratitude lives, I think. Not in the absence of difficulty, but right alongside it. What quietly changes in a life that learns to notice small things? Not everything changes. I want to be honest with you about that. Gratitude doesn't fix what is broken. It doesn't pay the bills or resolve the uncertainty or make the heavy days immediately lighter. But something does shift, slowly, almost invisibly, the way our eyes begin to move differently through a day, the way small moments start to register before they disappear, the way we find ourselves, occasionally, unexpectedly, pausing over something ordinary, a warm cup in both hands, a patch of afternoon light on the floor, a message from someone who was thinking of us, and we feel, just briefly, that our life contains something worth pausing for. Those pauses accumulate, not into a perfect life, not into constant happiness, but into a life that feels, on balance, a little more inhabited, a little more real, a little more ours. I think about Bella sometimes, lying in her warm bed that Friday night, not making promises to herself, not deciding to become a better person, not writing anything down, just lying there, feeling the roof above her, the blanket, the quiet, letting it be enough for that one night, just that one night. And I think that is the most honest version of gratitude I know. Not a practice you perfect, not a feeling you manufacture. Just a moment, small, ordinary, completely true, where you let something good reach you, where you stop walking past it, where you look. We've walked a long way together today, friend, and I don't want to rush this last part. I want to stay here with you for a little while longer in this quiet space we've made together, before we slowly find our way back to the day outside. Because I know that what we've been talking about today isn't simple. Gratitude sounds simple when someone says the word, but living it, finding it in the middle of a hard week, in the middle of a tired Tuesday, in the middle of a life that is asking a lot of you right now, that is not simple at all. And I want to honor that before we close. So let me just say this gently. You don't have to feel grateful today, not in any big or performed way. If today was hard, if this week was hard, if the weight you are carrying right now is real and heavy and not easily set down, then that is true and it is okay, and it doesn't make you an ungrateful person. It makes you a human person, going through something human, and that is allowed. What we are not doing today is adding gratitude to your to-do list. We are not saying, now go home and write 5 things you are thankful for. We are not handing you another thing to achieve or perform or get right. We are just saying maybe when a small moment of stillness finds you today, let something good land. That's all. That is the whole invitation. There are 2 small things I want to offer you, not as instructions, but as gentle possibilities. Things you might try, not because you should, but because they might feel kind to yourself. The first one is this. At some point today, or tonight, or this week, pause for 30 seconds before a meal. Not to pray necessarily, not to perform gratitude, just to look at the food in front of you for a moment. Before you eat it, really look at it. Notice the warmth of it, if it's warm, the color of it, the fact that it exists and it is yours and it is about to take care of your body. 30 seconds. That's all. Not every meal, not as a rule, just once, when you remember, when the moment feels right. Bella didn't plan her moment of gratitude. It arrived while she was just present. This is a small way of practicing that same presence without pressure, without expectation. Just a pause, just a look. The second one is quieter still. Before you sleep tonight, think of one thing that didn't have to go right today, but did. Not the big things, not the things you worked hard for or earned. Just one small thing that went quietly, unremarkably right. The bus arrived. The headache eased by afternoon. Someone smiled at you and meant it. The shower was warm. Your body carried you through the whole day without asking for anything dramatic in return. One thing, just one. You don't need to write it down. You don't need to tell anyone. Just let it sit in your mind for a moment before sleep takes you. Because I think there is something in that small act, that quiet acknowledgement before the day closes, that slowly, over time, begins to change what our eyes are drawn to. Not overnight, just gently. The way light changes slowly in the early morning, so gradually you can't catch the exact moment it shifts. But at some point, you look up and realize the room is brighter than it was. That is what consistent, honest, pressure-free noticing does to a life. It doesn't transform it overnight, but it brightens it slowly from the inside. And friend, I want to say one more thing before we close today. Gratitude is not only for the easy days. It is not reserved for the days when life is going well and everything feels manageable and you woke up rested and the light was beautiful and nothing hurt. Sometimes the most profound gratitude comes from the hardest places, from the person who has been through real loss and still finds themselves moved by a warm evening, from the person who has known real scarcity and feels something real when the refrigerator is full, from someone like Bella, tired, worn, ordinary, who stood in her kitchen on a Thursday night and let the sight of a man on the cold pavement remind her that her life, in this moment, contained something worth feeling. She didn't earn that moment by being a good person. She didn't deserve it more than anyone else on her street. She just slowed down enough to receive it. And so can we. Not every day, not perfectly, not without the hard days still being hard, but sometimes in the small moments, in the quiet spaces between one thing and the next, we can look, we can notice, we can let it be enough. And that quietly, honestly, without any performance at all, is enough. We've come a long way together today, friend, and I don't want to close with too many words, because I think everything we needed to say, we've already said it, quietly, honestly, together. Gratitude is not a performance. It is not something you earn or get right or feel on command. It is just a direction you can slowly learn to face, a window you learn to stand near so that when the light comes, you are there to receive it. That's all. That's the whole thing. Before you go, just one small thing. Somewhere in your day today, in some ordinary, unremarkable moment, a meal, a warm shower, a familiar voice, let something good land. Don't force it. Don't look too hard for it. Just leave a little space for it. It's already there, friend. It was always already there. Thank you for sitting with me today, for choosing something slow and quiet over the noise. That in itself was a kind of gentleness toward yourself. I hope you carry a little of that gentleness with you as you go. And if this episode gave you something useful, I'd love it if you tapped like and subscribe to the channel. It helps you stay connected, and it also helps this little learning community grow. Every click really does make a difference. Goodbye for now, friend.